Hi there, how's it going? Welcome to the show. So I don't know where you're at in the world and or country, but it is definitely fall, certainly approaching winter in Idaho, and it is chilly in the mornings, let me tell you. But I like the changing of the seasons because it gives a different type of flavor, lets you kind of wakes you up again because summer's not my ideal time. I know so many people love the heat. I'm not a big fan of the heat myself, but the chilliness in the air, I'm kind of liking it. I'm liking it a lot. So hopefully the weather is nice in your area and you're loving the fall too, because it's definitely here. There's no question. So in this episode of the show, we're going to be talking about a topic that I'm sure you never struggle with, right? I'm sure you never have to get out of your own way and allow things to happen. And of course, I never do either, right? Kidding. I totally have to remind myself of this every single day. That's why I think it's really important to share it on the show. But yeah, it's getting out of our own way and allowing things to happen, letting things to happen, rather than trying to force things to happen. And I really look at it from the standpoint of allowing ourselves to be inspired as opposed to act from a place of thinking, right? Or trying to make it happen, trying to do something, as opposed to being pulled or inspired to do something. Much more powerful to be inspired, as you probably already know. I'm sure you've had experiences in your life where you were inspired to do something and it turned out to be totally awesome and totally amazing. Whereas if you could have never come up with that idea in a million years in your own mind. All the best ideas come from the other side, right? Come from the unknown. Inventors talk about it. Tesla talked about it a lot. It's talked about a lot by people in the Vedic traditions, yogis, etc. They all get these downloads from the other side, these inspired ideas and inspired teachings that they then share with the world and the rest of us, and they're divine, for lack of a better word, and they have all the goodness in them, and it's nothing that the mortal mind or race mind could come up with. It's just so far removed from that. And so, I think the challenge that we all face every day is to align ourselves with divine, align ourselves with spirit, and then think and act and feel as spirit would feel. And all these great ideas are going to come to us, and we're going to be an open channel to have inspiration come to us that's going to be perfectly aligned for our good and for our greatest good and everyone else's greatest good and society's greatest good. So I really think it's really, really, really important to having an extraordinary life. And like I said, it all comes down to acting from a place of inspiration as opposed to a place of maybe desperation or thinking mindset. I think that's kind of what it comes down to there. But that's essentially the key to the human experience. And I really feel it's very powerful, and I think it's the eternal practice. I was actually going to title the episode, The Eternal Practice, continually aligning with spirit. But, it's just so important. And as part of like a daily ritual, if we incorporate this into our daily ritual, we're going to have so much better results. Just like we need to renew the body every day with food and exercise, we also need to renew our mind. And one aspect of renewing our mind, especially if we want to align with spirit, and who doesn't, right? Who doesn't want to align with spirit? Because that's where all the good stuff comes from. We need to remind ourselves every morning in our morning ritual, as we're bringing our consciousness back online, that spirit is where it's all going to come from. Everything good is going to come from spirit, and everything struggle and difficulty is going to come from mind, from ego mind, the mind that is based in this world, which is disconnected with spirit, from spirit. So when we do our morning rituals, we align ourselves with spirit through meditation or prayer or affirmations, and rekindle that relationship, because we need to have that relationship in order to produce the awesome works we're going to produce in the world and do good in the world and bring more spirit into the world, because there's plenty of mind dominance in the world right now. And we know that doesn't benefit that doesn't benefit anyone because it's not from a higher place. It's not from divine inspiration. It's not from divine intelligence. It's things created in this world. They lack the essence of divinity. And so we all need to bring more of that into the world by aligning ourselves with spirit every day during our morning ritual. And like I said, it's as simple as just thinking of spirit, or like the golden key from Emmett Fox states, just think of God. And I don't know if you're like me, but I have an easier time thinking of spirit and identifying with spirit than I do identifying with God. And the only thing that I can attribute that to is the fact that the word God has connotations. We've attached connotations to it, ideas and whatnot through religion that sometimes I think create a gap and make it more difficult for people to identify or align with God. Whereas spirit doesn't have those connotations. It doesn't have a lot of the ideas attached to it through, thousands of years of society attaching these meanings and the notion of what God is to it, which can either help you or hinder you on your path. Some people identify with the word God very easily. I personally happen to be a person that has an easier time understanding and getting a grasp on what spirit is. And like I said, I just think that's because of the ideas that we've attached to God. But ultimately, there really is only one thing, and that is God. That is universal consciousness, one consciousness, spirit, whatever you want to call it, source, unboundedness. And so whatever terminology that you identify with best and that doesn't pull up any type of connotations that get in the way of that essence, I think is the best vehicle. And we all have to look within ourselves and ask us what that is, for ourselves. But it's all the same thing. Emmett Fox says, when you have a problem, just think of God. So if you want to change the golden key and say, when you have a problem, just think of spirit, and it really will help to dissolve the problem or move you into a different state of consciousness, which is ultimately the goal that we have to do, move out of the consciousness we're in and go to the consciousness or cultivate the consciousness of transcending that experience or that, whatever it is that we're running into difficulty with in that particular day. So that's really what I wanted to say about that. I just think it's really important to reconnect with that every day and remember to act from a place of inspiration as opposed to a place of mind dominance, which is a huge practice for myself. I know I have to continually remind myself to do this on an ongoing basis. So before I wrap it up here, I just want to remind you that the 21 Ways to Radically Enhance the Human Experience, which is currently a free PDF download, is available on my website at gmarkphillips.com. However, today and yesterday, I recorded a number of videos yesterday. I'm making a course around this download, 21 Ways to Radically Enhance the Experience. So it'll be available on my website. It's going to be a free course with a little bit more in-depth detail and backstory and how to use it, incorporate this with your daily rituals. So look for that course to be coming online probably within a week or so. I'm going to wrap up the filming today, and then the course will be available on my website, gmarkphillips.com. And one of the things that I'm going to reiterate in the course, and I'll tell you now, is that I don't just create these things to put ideas on paper. I really want them to be valuable and useful to you, and I create them to help you get results, because these are ideas and information and knowledge that I use all the time and that has made a big benefit and a big impact on my life. And so one of my goals in creating this 21 Ways to Radically Enhance the Human Experience was to give you the best ideas that I've learned over the last 20 years for enhancing the human experience. And they are concepts and ideas and techniques like meditation or like aligning with the divine. And I give you a bunch of resources and et cetera in that document. But I really want you to be able to incorporate some of them into your daily ritual, whatever resonates with you, whatever you think is going to be beneficial, because each of us have kind of a different way of approaching our lives and our rituals. And so that's why I created it, to help you get results, because that's what we all want at the end of the day, is results. If we can't take ideas and concepts and translate them into practical improving our lives, then what's the point, right? So it's all about the results, and that's why I created it. So look for that to be coming online fairly quickly within the next week or so. All right, well, that's the show, and I super appreciate you for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic week, and until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.